Great. Thank you so much for this perspective you're giving to us. Now, as a networking association, uh, is there any program you have that is targeted at at Christians individually in terms of trying to see how you can get Christians to also buy into the vision? I know we're focused on organizations, but is there something you're doing? Because the more individual Christians we get involved, the better for us. So is there a strategy you have in that regard that can help promote what you're doing?
We do have a strategy in making sure that Christians understand missions. And one of our biggest strategy is the month of missions we celebrate every year. Every year we celebrate February as the month of mission. In that month, we mobilize our member agencies. We ourselves here in headquarters are also mobilized to go out to the churches and mission agencies throughout that month. Is talking missions. So we provide opportunity for people to listen to the update of mission work in Nigeria and how they can get involved, how they can get engaged. And we have had people actually contribute even on those days, that month of mission. We provide opportunity for people who would want to support missions, to support what we're doing either as NEMA headquarters or as member agencies that are available closest to them. So the month of missions, staff go out and actually request opportunities to share about missions in churches. Those are opportunities that is across all Nigeria in all the six geopolitical zones. You know, NEMA is structured in 6 zones. We have zonal coordinators in those zones, and each of the zonal committees, not all of them has coordinators at the moment. We still have one that is yet to have a coordinator, which is the Northeast. But all the other 5, the coordinators are encouraged to ensure that during the month of February, every Sunday, we want to have people speak and talk about missions. So that's the month we have set aside every year to ensure that people hear and listen about missions. In addition, we also provide opportunities for the clergy to listen and understand what missions are about. You will be shocked to hear that not all the clergy understand what missions is. And I tell you, when we speak about missions, a lot of them confess to say, we haven't had it that way. We didn't know this is the way it should be. So we do clergy dinner. These days we also have clergy breakfast or clergy lunch, as the case may be, where church leaders are exposed to listen to missions, and that will provide opportunity for them to have information. We provide them information on the global mission perspective, on the Nigerian mission perspective, and they go there to share that uh, at their own churches. So those are opportunities we provide. And all of this we provide every February. We make sure that we produce devotional that focuses on mission every day. And that makes it possible for members, every member who is keen about mission could easily pick our February devotional every year. And every day we talk about mission and how individuals can get engaged. So we do have that opportunity and we're using it the best way we can. It's not to say it's only February that we do that, but every opportunity we have to go out to serve, we share about missions and make sure that people listen and understand what it means to get involved in missions. We also have newsletter that we share with our agencies, and they should in turn share with member agencies. Prayer bulletin are all talking about missions. So those are opportunities we provide for individuals to engage and understand what mission is about and how they could be part of it.
Thank you, sir. Great. All of this that you have described to us, the vision of NEMA, what you're doing, is quite huge. And I'm sure it involves a lot of the requirement for resources and funding. How do you fund your work, and how has been your experience in terms of fundraising for what you're doing, and also for your other networking association members that you work with?
Now, funding is a key aspect of our work. And praise be to God, we have been able to stay afloat in spite of all the challenges the marketplace has brought on mission agencies and mission organizations. And I can tell you that I thank God that since I stepped in here as the leader, we have been able to support our staff in their monthly stipend without delay. We've had opportunity to meet those needs in terms of the staff. Now, NEMA is funded by its member agencies. And our key focus is, of course, individuals in Nigeria. Quite a number of people who are passionate about missions, and they actually give us monthly to support what we're doing. We also have membership dues, where member agencies pay annual dues in terms of the dues we need in order to meet our operational costs. We also have agencies outside of these countries that will identify a project and come alongside us and fund those programs. And I tell you, we've had projects over the last 3 years. Every year we have one program or the other. Apart from the subscription or the registration dues we charge, which is often not adequate, we have people that are willing to support what we're doing through their donations. And that has helped us a lot. For instance, during COVID, you can imagine how did we survive? God help us survive. We had people donating, individuals donating and supporting us and saying, in fact, I tell you, there are times we even got people donating and giving money for palliative for us here in headquarters because they knew people may not be able to support financially because everybody was struggling. But you have these agencies that on their own will say, get this money, give your staff so that they will be able to live above the crisis we're facing. So currently, we have a number of projects that we are running, and those projects have helped us raise funds. For instance, we have been working with our member agencies in oral Bible stories. And a lot of those oral Bible studies are funded by agencies outside of this country. So we work and have support, and through that, we're also able to save money in order to meet our needs. For instance, currently, one of the biggest project we have is our guest house project. It's been there for long without going any further. But in the last 1 year, we decided it's high time we revisit that project. And God has helped us through some of these small projects that we carry out, that we're able to have savings through it and be able to revisit the issue of the guest house. And that is a strategic move for us because once we get the guest house completed, we'll be able to have money to run our operations. So, well-meaning Nigerians, good-hearted Nigerians, mission agencies, churches, individually give to support what we're doing. And I think we're one of the few networks that are supported wholly in country. If you see other networks outside of this country, you discover that a lot of them has great big donor funds coming from outside. But for us in NEMA, most of our resources are funded locally. And most of the projects we run are funded through registration and are funded through donations that we receive. Sure enough, we do receive donations outside of this country, but they are often targeted to projects that are being carried out at those specific moments. So God has been helpful. I think God has helped us to stay afloat through the donations and His faithfulness in seeing that the little we get, we make the best use of it to the glory of His name. So That has been our story. And we see God doing that, not just now, but in the years to come.
Yes, thank you so much for this insightful information you are giving us about your operations in NEMA. On a final note, what closing thoughts do you have to help Christians to be more strategic and intentional in engaging people in the midst of the local and global challenges that we have? We are not looking at only the local context now, globally. There are so many challenges. So, what are your final thoughts so that Christians and individuals can deploy their lives in order to, make their communities more comfortable, and then also serving God to build His kingdom?
I think my final thought is to say we should go back to Scripture. We should go back to our first love. We should, as individuals, realize that we're created for worship. And if we're created for worship, everything we do should rally around ensuring that the gospel is preached. And you can preach the gospel in many forms. You can preach the gospel as a professional. Wherever you find yourself, you are a living example, you are a witness for Christ. I think one of the things people fail to understand is that you don't have to wear a collar to preach the gospel. You don't have to be an ordained in court minister to preach the gospel. As a Christian, born again Christian, you should be a living example of what Christ intends for all believers to be. And if believers can take seriously their faith and share their faith in words and in deed, share their faith in workplace, share their faith in marketplace, share their faith wherever they found themselves, the issue of corruption, nepotism, and all of these struggles we have around the world will not be there. I think that Christians are not living the legacy Christ left to them. If we live the life that Christ said we should live, a lot of these things around us would be overcome. But because we let loose and live lives as if God doesn't exist, that's why we have these problems, and they continue to spread without anyone realizing that God is in charge. So if we Christians will be committed to serve God in all ramifications, I think our world will be a better place. Let's please preach love, preach commitment, preach transparency, preach dedication, and preach sincerity. If we see our brother as a person I will love and to serve God through my service to Him, the world will be a better place. And all of the crises we will face would actually be needless. The conflict we face is because we don't see ourselves as brothers and sisters. But if you have a brother and a sister, you don't want to harm him or her. And so we're able to live in peace and tranquility. That is my prayer and that is my desire, that Christians will live the life Christ has taught us to live. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for giving us your perspective on what you're doing as an individual and the head of NEMA. It has been very engaging, and we have benefited quite tremendously from the things that you have shared with us. We look forward to engaging further on other issues that would advance God's kingdom and bring glory and honor to His name. Thank you so much.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us in today's episode of Verity Talks. Please don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. See you again on the next episode of Verity Talks. Thank you and God bless.